Review. Back to the 60s. Farm, get wealthy, and raise the cubs. There are some novels that stay with you no matter how many times you've read them. For me, Back to the 60s Farm, Get Wealthy, and Raise the Cubs is exactly that kind of story. I've read it so many times. Truly, I've lost count. Every reread feels like coming back home to a familiar family and watching them grow all over again. This was one of the very first transmigration 1960s to 1980s with space novels I ever picked up. Back then, only a handful of these kinds of stories were translated, and I instantly liked this one. Over time, I grew to love it deeply. It's why, if you peek at my YouTube channel, you'll even find that I had started audio translating and explaining the first few chapters before life and the chaos of Corona times pulled me away. But recently, after finishing Chronicles of Primordial Worlds, I couldn't resist picking it up again. And like always, I binge-read the entire 780 chapters in 3 days flat. What's the story about? Lynching. He transmigrates into a novel, and not just anywhere. She becomes cannon fodder in a poor 1960s setting, an era where there's nothing to eat, nothing to wear, and survival is a daily struggle. But she's lucky. She's got a small personal interspatial space stuffed with supplies. Her bigger problem? If the story plays out like the original novel, her 3 young sons will grow up to be villains, and their cold but upright father will meet a tragic end. When she looks at the boys, 5, 3, and 1 years old, she decides to start changing their fate, beginning with something simple, giving them each half a big white bun. From there begins a long, heartwarming, and often lighthearted journey of farming, doting, building a better life, and raising children with love. Why I love this novel. The biggest strength of this novel is the time flow. The story spans decades, not just a few months, and as you read, you feel yourself aging alongside the characters. When I binge-read this novel, I felt like I lived those 31 years with the family. I watched the little cubs grow up, from being mischievous kids to teenagers to college students to adults running businesses and starting families of their own. Along the way, I saw them go through conflicts between different family branches, personal struggles, and milestones big and small. It was like I wasn't just a reader, but an observer, maybe even a silent member of the family. Few novels can give you that kind of immersive, long-term emotional attachment. Final thoughts. Back to the 60s. Farm, Get Wealthy, and Raise the Cubs is a slice-of-life gem. It's lighthearted, farming-centered, sweet, and very much about family bonds. Every reread brings me the same comfort, a sense of growth, warmth, and time well spent with characters who feel almost real. For anyone who enjoys slow-burn stories, multi-generational family sagas, and the quiet satisfaction of living through the ups and downs of decades, this novel is a must-read. Enjoy my reviews and translations? If you'd like to support me and help keep these going, you can. Buy me a coffee on Ko-fi. Please open your app to see this link. Follow me on Instagram. Please open your app to see this link for updates and snippets. Watch video reviews and chapter talks on YouTube. Please open your app to see this link. Join the reader community on Telegram. Please open